So I want to tell you guys about a situation that I'm currently dealing with, and it kind of flies in the face of what we know about USPS claims. And I didn't know about this, and chances are you have not either. And it seems to be a fairly new thing with USPS claims, and I think all resellers need to know what's going on with this. Now, haven't really dove too much into their policies, but I do have some policies to show you here a little bit in this video. But I want to show you what I sold. I sold this golf club. It's a Nike VRS Covert Tour 2.0 driver. It's like a 10 to 15-year-old golf club. We sold it for $71.99 plus shipping, and it sold pretty fast, so probably like within a couple weeks of us listing this. We shipped it in a 48 by 5 by 5 box, which accommodates this club perfectly. Allows plenty of room for bubble wrap, which is what we used on the club, like we use with every club. Now, as you can see here in these photos, this driver was in great condition. Okay, yeah, it's used. There's nothing wrong with the driver, though. There's nothing broken with the driver. As you can see here, the shaft is fully intact, and everything looks like a golf club. That's what we sold. That's what we shipped, and we made sure it was shipped very securely in that 48 by 5 by 5 box. Now, about 4 or 5 days later, we get a message from eBay saying that the buyer opened a return, and the reason why is it arrived damaged. And when we looked at the photos that the buyer sent us, well, this is what they received. They received a box that was all mangled. Looks like it's been stomped on, or someone stepped on it in a couple places. And the shaft of the club, which is the part here that's broken, you can see it was snapped in half, which you have to put a lot of force on a driver shaft on a golf club. It's graphite, but still, you have to really, something major has to land on this box for it to cause that shaft to snap like that. And buyer was understanding. I told him, I said, look, we're going to have to just file a claim. I'll use the photos that you have here. They had like you can see there's like 5 or 6 photos in the claim, and we're just going to have to file a claim. In the meantime, I'll give you a full refund, which I did. They were happy about it. They left me, I believe they left me positive feedback on it. Then I went on to USPS.com, put in the claim as I have in the past. Now, granted, we don't do a whole lot of these. I mean, knock on wood, USPS has been pretty good about delivering these items in one piece. And to say, I was surprised. I was surprised when I saw this, because I'm like, wow, you really have to snap. You really have to do something, put a lot of force on these. These golf shafts are designed to withstand a lot of force, but if you stomp on it or something major falls on it, well, that's a problem. And it's a problem for me that, you know, the post office, someone had to have seen that this box was this way and something was on top of, at some point, something was on top of this box, and some employee had to have seen that, and for them not to pull that out of the process of being delivered at some point and maybe marking the package as being damaged, which would have helped my claim process. Why that wasn't done, it's beyond me. And so they delivered it as if, oh, not my problem, right? And I'm sure by then there's maybe something may have been rattling around in the box. But so I filed a claim using the buyer's photos, explaining what we did and what they discovered when they opened the package. And I thought, okay, it's going to take a matter of weeks. And instead of getting now I got the envelope from USPS, and I thought, okay, this is probably a claim check. So I'm thinking, all right, cool. $71.99 plus shipping. And instead, this nice little letter here, it says, in response to the insurance claim for missing contents or damaged items referenced above, please present the items and mailing container, including the wrapping, packaging, and any other contents received, along with this letter, to a post office for inspection within 20 days. If this evidence of damage is not available for inspection, your claim may be denied. For more information about claims, blah, blah, blah. Now, I went back to look at the claim that I put in online. It says it's denied. So they say I have 20 days here. Now, I don't know what the deal is with that, but I'm sure they know that, because I did submit a screenshot along with these photos, these broken item photos that the buyer sent me. I did submit the screenshot of the transaction on eBay to show it was an online sale. So I'm sure they put one and one together and realized, well, he doesn't have the item, and he's probably refunded the buyer, and they're probably already thrown this thing in the trash and moved on about their life, because there's no recovering this golf club. It's too old to reshaft, to be honest with you. It'd be too costly to do so. And, I think there's something about having the original shaft on this one anyway that was appealing. So I'm sure that this item's in the trash. There's in no world is a buyer going to be readily available to not only take this golf club, they're still holding on to it for some reason, but to take this golf club on their own time, own dime, go to the post office, may not be very close, and stand in line for who knows how long, and deal with a postal inspector for what? They already received their money. I already refunded their money. There's and nobody would do that. I mean, maybe the nicest person, maybe the top 5% of the nicest people in the U.S. would consider doing that just because they're a nice person. But I would never pose that on a buyer. And for them to expect that a buyer or your recipient is going to go through those steps to be made whole and have the seller be made whole, well, it's unreasonable. And I think they know this, which is why they do this. Because whenever you deal with insurance, they don't want to pay out when they have to pay out, and they find little ways to get around that. And in the past, it was one of those things where we simply would go online, submit the proof by the photo showing what was broken, show the original packaging with the original label on the box, and that's good enough. Proof of the online sale as well, which is what I did with this, just like any other that I've done in the past. So I decided, let me see what their policy is. And I didn't know this, but let's go over it. 1.5.1, claims filed online. Domestic indemnity claims should be filed online, preferred. You can also send a mail-in claim if you want, but they prefer you do it online. To www.usps.com/domestic claims for domestic insured mail. COD, registered mail with postal insurance and Priority Mail Express. So Ground Advantage is what we sent, and this was actually included. $100 is included in the price of the label. Proof of value is required and should be submitted online as uploaded file, PDF or JPEG. Evidence of insurance must be retained by the customer till the claim is resolved. Upon written request by USPS, the customer must submit proof of damage for damaged items or missing contents in person to a local post office for inspection, retention, and disposition in accordance with the claim's decision. They sort of wipe out the idea of telling the buyer to, well, I know, because technically in the past, if the buyer sends the package back, it kind of voids the insurance. But if they didn't say addressee, just says, the customer would need to bring this in to a post office, I would then say to the customer, whenever they file the return claim or let me know that there's damage, to send it back, and when I get it, I'll take it into the post office and just show them the proof if they request the proof. So I'm holding on to the broken item until this claim is resolved. But they put the addressee must do that, which is the buyer. Now, I did read that if you purchase additional insurance on this, so if I would have insured it for $200, then it's the person who paid for the insurance, which is me, that would have to bring it in. At least that's what I read. I may be wrong on that, but that's the way it read to me when I was looking through the policy. Now, of course, I'm not going to insure every item over and above what it's actually worth, or over and above what USPS gives us, the $100 with Ground Advantage, for instance, or Priority Mail. So we're kind of in a bad spot. Now, according to the same policy under 2.0, providing proof of loss or damage, if a claim is filed because some or all the contents are missing or damaged, the addressee, there it is, that's the buyer, must retain the mailing container, including any damaged articles, all packaging, and any contents received. Upon written request by USPS, the addressee must make this proof available to the local post office for inspection, retention, and disposition in accordance with the claim's decision. Failure to do so will result in a denial of the claim. So this $71 item, not a big ticket item, doesn't really seem like it's one of those things where we're making it up. We show the box, we show the club. If we brought this broken club into the post office, what does that prove to them? If the buyer got this package, went and played a round of golf, snapped it on a tree because they got angry, because you have to do that kind of damage, you've got to really get angry and hit it over something. Well, what's to stop them from going into the post office and claiming that it was delivered that way? So I don't understand what they are trying to, what fraud they're trying to stop, or someone that's putting in a fraudulent claim is not going to provide the kind of information in the way that it was provided in the claim. So I think this is just one of those tactics that prevents a seller from getting reimbursed when they drop the ball. So just know that you are given $100 insurance with USPS.com, Ground Advantage, and Priority Mail. I would still put in the claim request, but there is a chance, a very good one, and backed up by their own policy, that they are going to have you try to inconvenience your buyer and make it virtually impossible for you to collect when they screw up and damage, break, or lose. Now, I think lose is different, because if they lose your item, there's nothing for the buyer to bring in. But when they damage it, guess what? You're probably going to have to give the refund to the buyer, and eBay is not going to protect you. They're not going to cover you. You're going to have to write this off as, wait for it, the cost of doing business, which is what I've done. And just, it's a learning experience, but what can you change as of dealing with this experience? You really can't. There have been no level of packing materials that I can have put into this box. I could have used a much larger box and caused the cost of the label to go way up, which really is unreasonable. But even then, someone stepping on it, someone dropping something huge on this box would have snapped the shaft either way. So there's really no way to avoid this kind of situation. There's really nothing to learn from it other than you should expect this. So yes, file claims when this kind of thing happens, expecting that the post office is going to want you to do something that's unreasonable, and that's to have a buyer who doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your situation, they're already taken care of with their refund, to want you to somehow magically get them to stand in line for 30 minutes to an hour to speak to someone to resolve a refund for you, not them. So that's my experience, backed up with USPS policy, the letter that I have from them, and just thought you guys might want to know that this seems to have changed. And I think, the kudos we've been given to USPS for Ground Advantage and all the good things that they've done, to me is kind of tempered and offset a little bit by, this policy change. And it's really not a good look. And it's really kind of a bait and switch. It's really not insurance to me, because they know that we're not selling to our family members and our friends. They know we're selling to total strangers, and they know that they're not going to have to pay anytime they request this kind of proof. So Just want you guys to know that. Want your comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the like button, and of course subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the notifications so that you know when we're going live or when another video drops. Guys, doing business has its ups and downs, and this is one of the downs that goes along with doing business. It's out of our control. There's nothing I could have done differently here. And when it happens to you, and let's hope it doesn't, but if it happens to you, there's not a whole lot different you're going to be able to do either. But dealing with that and accepting that USPS does not have your best interest in mind when it comes to a claim is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And check out one of these videos here, and in the meantime, I want you guys to have an excellent rest of your day. Take care, everyone.